In this video, I'm going to talk about the method that I actually use to rank websites, the step-by-step process on how to get them to climb up the search engines. Doesn't matter what type of website it is. It can work on e-commerce sites, info-based sites, it can be on AdSense sites, it can be on blogs, it can be on info product sites, any variety of things. This method I'll go through. I mentioned the different tools that we use. There's quite a few different tools that we use. A lot of the things that we use and I'll recommend, we actually use, tested everything out, and some of it you can actually do by hand. You don't necessarily need to buy every tool that we recommend, but the tool really is there. We use it to speed it up and automate the process of what you're doing, because once you start to do things at scale, when you're trying to do things by hand, it's very difficult to be doing some of the things that we're doing, especially with the advanced techniques. The important thing I just wanted to mention just before getting into the actual method and the strategy is the idea of focus and how important that is, and understanding why it is that we're doing what it is that we're doing. You know, it's very easy to just put up different websites and build blog networks and, you know, go out and social bookmark things and distribute articles, but unless you've got a primary focus for what it is that you're doing, you know, there's no point in just putting up a page or bookmarking something for bookmarking's sake. You want to understand that you've got a money site, and that's not what this course is about. This is assuming you've already got a pre-existing business, and with that pre-existing business, what do you do to get that website to rank and get the most out of it? So let's pretty much get stuck into it. I've got a few notes here because it's quite in depth, and you know the process that I do go through, so you might see me referring to those. But the first thing that I think we need to look at is we'll start off with in fact, I'm going to shuffle this down because it's probably going to take up a little bit more space than that. The first thing, obviously, at the centre of everything that we're going to talk about is we've got our money site. And the money site is, again, that primary site. This is the site that we're looking to rank, and I'm assuming that you've already done the basic keyword research and you understand what your primary keyword is that you're targeting. And, you know, I don't want to go through keyword selection and all that sort of thing, but also you've got some internal pages, and some of these internal pages will have secondary keywords associated to them as well. So assuming that that's already done, what is the method that I go through to rank websites? Now, this method has been used countless times and has ranked quite a lot of websites and getting #1 positioning. It really is a very sound method based on a lot of knowledge over a lot of years. So the first thing that we'll talk about, a great place to start, is publishing on e-zine articles. E-zine articles is a great way to start any SEO method, and typically what I do is the way this method starts, the way it starts is you really do need a step-by-step plan. I'm not going to necessarily give exact specifics, like saying you will need to publish 7 articles on e-zine articles, or you will need to bookmark 100 sites, or whatever the case may be. I won't give you particulars to that. I'll give you a range, mainly because the way search engines work, there is no hard and fast rule. There's general rules of thumb that we follow, and you know, we want to make sure that we're not leaving any footprint that anyone can follow. We're trying to replicate what happens in nature. So the first thing that we look at, obviously, is this first part here. I use as e-zine articles, and what I'll do is I'll get some articles written. Now this really is your best content. Typically what I'll do is, let's say you've got an information based product or something like that, take the product, break it up into pieces, actually get a writer. I'll bid it out onto places like Rent-A-Coda, Elance, there's a few other different article writing services out there. Need an article, I'll bid these jobs out to people to get them to take either my content and cut it up into pieces, or I'll get unique articles written. Again, this e-zine articles being a sort of a premium article directory, you really do want to be submitting your best stuff there. And so we start off and we've got e-zine articles, and usually what we do for e-zine articles, I'll do anywhere from sort of, to start off my SEO campaign, I'll do anywhere from 10 to 15 articles based on e-zine articles. And then obviously in the resource box they enable you to link back to your website. Typically I'll be linking back not only with the primary URL of the website, so www.yourdomain.com, and also in the resource box they allow you to put 1 or 2 keywords as well. So you'll find I link these articles back to the main site, and I'll also have some of the secondary keywords linked to from within the resource box using the anchor text for the whatever keyword I'm trying to rank. I'll link that into these internal websites, as these internal pages as well. So e-zine articles is a great place to start, and I mentioned Rent-A-Coda and Elance, they're the main ones. Also I use if I am writing it myself or getting one of the team to do it, there's another program that we look at which is called Instant Article Wizard, and that just sort of helps you find content to piece together articles. But that's the first place that you want to start. Next thing, the next level of my marketing method, or the SEO method, is more mass. See, this is more, I suppose, hand done. It's very close to your money site. We always want to protect our money site. We don't do anything, controversial or anything like that. The next step after that is going for a slightly wider reach, and it's submitting through to other article directories. And submitting through to the other article directories, I typically use different services to get this done. One that I've used, I'll call it just article distribution. And with the article distribution, there's different services like Article Marketer, which I've used extensively. I've also looked at Content Spooling Network, and there's another one, Unique Article Wizard. And the quality of the articles for this part of the SEO method doesn't necessarily need to be as good as the e-zine articles, and we use these again. They also link back to the money site with the URL, and then also, where possible, you'll also have it linking through to some of these secondary keywords as well. So they link through to the secondary keywords, and you want to mix it up. Like I said, you don't want to do anything hard and fast. Never want to do anything hard and fast rules. Sometimes you might link to one of these internal pages, another time you'll link to another internal page, and a lot of in some of the other SEO videos we talked about the on-page optimization and the importance of structuring your website so that all the link juice is passed to the appropriate page that you're looking to rank using no follow tags and things like that. But the way you can structure this is a lot of that juice will end up flowing back up to your money site, which is going to be the primary keyword that you're trying to rank for. So some of these article distribution services, like I mentioned, Content Spooling Network, Article Marketer, Unique Article Wizard, again, the quality of the article doesn't necessarily need to be as strong, so I do look at using, this is really where I use Need an Article, is a good place to get articles written for cheap, and they're not as high quality, but I mean you can get them for about $6 or something like that. Also, another place that I like to do get articles for this is using sometimes I'll get PLR articles, private label rights articles, rewritten for the distribution. Also, what I do is I'll get these articles, because these are quite good quality articles, I'll get them rewritten. There are different services out there to get articles rewritten for distribution on this level. Now, for this level, I usually look at between, I'd say, 20 to 30 articles. So you'll see as we sort of go up this pyramid, more and more links happen at each level. So we're looking at probably about 20 to 30 articles. And obviously all of these things aren't going to happen overnight. You're not going to wake up one morning with 30 articles ready to go, 10 to 15 e-zine articles. Just sort of span it out over time. You might start adding a few articles one week, a few articles the next week, a few articles the next week. E-zine, then for the distribution you might do a few articles each week as well, and just sort of have it almost drip feed. You want to have that natural looking link building. You don't want to bang overnight have shitloads of links. So that was that level. The next level we'll look at up is using blog networks. Now, blog networks, we talked about this in one of the other, the SEO method.com video series, and we talk about blog networks. So rather than go through and actually explain what they are in great detail, just suffice to say there are different services out there that you can sign up, and you gain access to a network of blogs, and you're able to tap into that network and post your articles in their blog network back to your website. I suppose it might be considered a little bit more grey hat marketing, I suppose. I wouldn't necessarily say it's black hat, it's by no means cloaking or anything like that, but it is a little bit more on the sort of more aggressive scale. So we'll call that blog network. And what I'll use here, these ones are, I'd probably say, because these are for the article distribution, they're going out to typically through Article Marketer and things like that, and Content Spooling Network, they're going out to actual article directories, second tier e-zine article style directories. That's where they're going out to. Whereas the blog network, it's almost like they've built up the blog network. A lot different blog networks work in different ways. You know, sometimes they build their own blogs, sometimes they have users submit blogs, and then you just, you know, you pay your monthly access fee and you gain access to them. But again, it is a little bit more aggressive than the article distribution, and for that reason you want to be mindful of, one, which blog network you join, because you don't want to get dropped out of the search engines because, you know, you're seen to be trying to gain the search engines. So it's just important that you firstly pick a good blog network, and secondly, don't overly link it through to your money site. You will send a few links down there, but typically what I like to do is I'll use this level here above the blog networks to link into some of these articles. Now, each one of these articles, depending on the level at which you want to take it, and a lot of this, you know, we talk about good SEO rules of thumb and standard practices in the course. It really does depend on what keywords you're going after. If you're going after mortgages or credit cards or things like that, you're going to have to be a lot more aggressive and careful on what it is that you're actually doing. For example, each one of these articles you might want to optimize for a specific keyword, whereas if I'm going for something slightly less aggressive, I don't necessarily optimize each one of these keywords for articles for a particular keyword. I'll just make sure that the keyword, you know, the articles on topic and the keyword linking in the resource box back to the money site has the appropriate keyword, both to the home page and also those internal pages. But on this secondary one up here, so we were talking about, again, linking. Where do we actually link back? And you'll link, you know, some of these through to these different parts, both the e-zine articles and the article distribution, and you also will fire some links down here as well. Just don't excessively go that. Really what you'll see is the blog network is very good at supporting these second tier sites, and then that will filter down into your money site. Depending on the quality of the blog network, there are blog networks that are done extremely well, and I feel more confident linking through to my money site from those particular websites. But yeah, there have been ones in the past that haven't gone down. So from the blog network point of view, typically we're looking at, where's my notes here? The blog network, I usually, the rule of thumb, sort of around 50 to 100 articles posted on the blog network. The content that I use for here, like I talked about, premium content, maybe rewriting of content. For the blog network, I'm less picky as to the content that goes up, so I'm usually using things like public domain works, getting public domain works, cutting them up into pieces using those articles, and I'm also interested in things like PLR, as long as you get a good private label rights, one like, I know the guys over at PLR Pro, and they're great and they provide really great content. There are a lot of services out there that aren't so good, but PLR content is definitely a great way to get some of the content. Some of the blog networks that I've looked at, used and recommend, we've got Portal Blog Feeder has their own, or Portal Feeder, which is a program by Jason Podash, has different modules to it, one of which is the Portal Blog Feeder, and that is a fantastic blog network. We've also got the guys over at Stompernet. They provide provide a great service for their blog network as well. It's a lot more automated. It's quite good, but I don't even know if it's open at the moment, the Stompernet course. Articles Underground, that's, that's a PLR service. It's not the greatest blog network, and to be honest, I don't use it a great deal, but I have used it early on with some good success. And if you're using it in the grand scheme of things where we're talking about on the layers, that's fine to use that one as well. You've got the AMA, which is the article. I don't even know what the acronym stands for, but it's put out by the guys over at PLR Pro, and that is a fantastic network. Mark really knows his SEO over there, and yeah, he's built up a very good blog network that you can get access to. Also, there's the Content Spooling Network. Content Spooling Network is quite a good network as well, but it's all about posting these lower quality articles, doing it on slightly larger mass to these articles that you post, and also the e-zine articles, and some back to your primary money site. Moving on, the next thing that I look at as well, typically I do this early on in the piece, and let me just get another colour. Hopefully I've got another colour. Actually, I've run out of colours, so maybe we'll start back with black. Is directory submissions. Now, directory submissions used to be a lot more effective than they are these days. There are different directories out there that provide SEO benefit and pass link juice, and like I said, in the past they used to be a lot more effective than they are these days. There's different services out there where you give them your website and you can say, here's the text for the title, here's the description, here's the keywords that I want to link to. You can give them a few keywords, you can tell them to rotate them. I say that for sure. You don't want to have every one of these sites under the directory submission to have exactly the same text. You want to make sure that you mix it up. So provide them variations. Find a service that will allow variations and will also drip feed this over time. Again, you want to make it look natural. You don't want to go to bed one day and then wake up the next day and then have 200 links pointing back to your website. Now, I don't ever, because these are quite low quality links now, and I don't get as much bang for my buck as I used to. I make sure you don't do that personally, or maybe you find someone in India or Philippines or something like that to do the work for you. But this is directory submissions. And typically speaking, I'll usually go anywhere from 150 to 200 links on that. Look, that's very cheap to do, and you can get that sort of submission done by some different services. One I've used in the past, Directory Maximizer, they're quite good. All of the links up here, typically speaking, they'll be fired straight to the money site. So I'll just do that. They get fired down to the money site. And a lot of the times your link back to the money site will have the URL, so it'll be like www.yourdomain.com. The benefit being, which we talked about in one of the other SEO method videos, was that when you're having links to your website, you want to have a certain percentage of those with the URL in it. You don't always want to be so aggressively targeting just one primary keyword. You have your primary keyword and you have variations on that keyword, and you also have the domain name. And these guys, for the directory submission, that's a good way to get a good amount of inbound links with your URL in it. So directory submission is good, it's quite cheap, and it's very easy to do. So, and that leads me to another point. I talked about variation for these. Same with when we're looking at the blog network, and I talked about PLR content, and I also talked about public domain. Typically speaking, like you won't be doing the same article. Mix it up, and you'll have different articles, and then just follow the methods that we outline as to shooting the links back to the money site and some of those internal pages as well. The next piece, really, that for me makes up stage one. I'd say that's. We'll just put this here. Stage one. I've got it written down as stage 1. I usually the reason I call that stage 1 is because of the ease at which it is rolled out. The next sort of stage is what I start to do once the website starts to take off. This will be enough for most niches to get you to start ranking. But you know, depending on if you've decided this is my core business that I'm going for, this money site is the core business and I want to rank and I want to do whatever it takes to get that to rank, then, you know, taking it to the next level, and this really comes back to search engine domination. If you want someone to type in your keyword, and this is going to get your money site ranked, what I'm about to show you now is how to dominate the first page of Google. So you type in a keyword and you've got multiple things coming up, and every link that someone links on or clicks on leads back to your money site. And the next stage of that, and it's a little bit more difficult to roll out, just because, you know, you have to train people up from an outsourcing point of view, but it works fantastically. And obviously we're all familiar with the explosion of Web 2.0 properties, and I'll tell you my top 10 or something like that, but we'll say Web 2.0. Now for the Web 2.0, we are looking at building up a set of websites, and all Web 2.0 is a super quick summary for those of you who don't know. It'd be hard to miss by now, but all it is really websites that have started springing up, like your Facebook, like your MySpace. Not that I use those, but even things like Squidoo and Hub Pages and Weebly and things like that. They're your Web 2.0. Typically speaking, it's just websites that have user-generated content on them. For me, that's what I think of Web 2.0. It's just user-generated content type sites. Now, for the Web 2.0, let me just have a look here. Usually, just to start, and I suppose we'll shift this into, we're sort of now moving into stage 2. So stage 1 is all about getting just your money site ranked, and that'll get your money site ranked. This now, stage 2, is more about dominating that first page on Google. And if you pick out, just to start, maybe 5 to 10 Web 2.0 properties, and you can build on that over time. Like once you start to see the success of it, you might say, right, now I've got a person dedicated specifically for building Web 2.0. I have a girl, she's been trained up over, see, that's why I was saying it takes a little bit more effort. She's been trained up over quite some time, and she builds this network for me on different Web 2.0 sites and then posts content to it. And then from there, what you use with the Web 2.0 properties, I usually link them straight back to my money site, and also some of these internal ones as well. So, and many of these sites will let you link to multiple places. Like you can send multiple links out on the site. Because this is, you know, think of it in terms of how close is this activity to my money site, because you never want to be doing something, like I said, dodgy that could harm your money site. Obviously we want to protect the money site. The further we go up here, like the blog network, I'm happy to use, you know, lower quality content. Down here, reasonably well or reasonably closely linked to your money site, unless you have an affiliate program, and then if you've got an affiliate program, you have plausible deniability, and that's the idea that, you know, this might be someone else. Because you've got an affiliate program, if something is dodgy happening, or you know, some way to gain the search engine is happening back to your money site, if you've got an affiliate program, you've got that plausible deniability of, oh, it could be an affiliate, not necessarily me that's controlling it. So, but you know, mitigating that, and if we take that out of the equation, you want to just be more careful on these Web 2.0 properties. I really like to use Web 2.0 for actually building profiles. Like, I mean, these aren't just me opening an account and doing it on huge mass. There's a little bit more work involved. Like, I've got someone employed, she's in the States, so obviously English is her first language. She's got good command of the English language, and the quality at which she's doing it is much higher. But I'll get her to build a profile about these, so if someone actually went to the profile page, they'll see an alias or a picture of a person, so it feels real, it doesn't feel spammy. And that's what I use the Web 2.0 for. Now, As far as Web 2.0 properties, some of the ones that I recommend, which I mentioned, Squidoo, WetPaint, WordPress, Blogspot, Weebly, Hub Pages, Multiply, and we'll list a lot more on the website. But if you just choose between 5 to 10 of those and put some content up, that's pretty much how you want to start off with the Web 2.0 stuff. The next stage, this is sort of now is sort of not the next stage. This sort of builds on this as part of Web 2.0. Almost the terms not synonymous, but I mean a lot of people are, you mention Web 2.0. The other word that pops into mind almost straight away is social bookmarking, and social bookmarking is a fantastic way for getting quick and easy links. So that's what I've got on my next level down here. And social bookmarking, there's a variety of different services out there that you can use to make this easy, because I'm all about bookmarking. I'm all about leverage. Like I'm not out there doing this myself, and that's why I use tools to speed up and automate the process. Social bookmarking, back in the day it used to be that people used to bookmark favourites on their website, on their own computer, under the Internet Explorer or something like that. Now all social bookmarking is effectively, instead of bookmarking it on your computer, you bookmark it on your on different websites, and the benefit being you get some inbound links. Now this is something really that you do need to look at outsourcing, because especially I'm sort of looking between the range of 100, 150, and I sort of introduced this, as you can see, being in stage 2, it's a little bit sort of further down. Now that it's sort of further down, a lot of this is really starting to get established now. So, and what I do is with my assistants, I'll have them log different, when they're doing this work, they'll provide the URLs to these different things. So they'll submit me an Excel sheet with all of the details of, okay, on the blog network, which articles did you submit and where did you submit them. So that way you can give that, if it's a different person, and again, depending on the scale at which you're doing things, you might give that Excel spreadsheet down to your social bookmarking person, and what you want them to do is they'll mix this up and they'll do, just using basic keyword, basic rules of thumb when it comes to SEO, making sure the titles are attractive and the keywords in there and things like that, and they'll link back to whatever the article was optimized for with the appropriate keyword to try and make it rank. But they might set up for the social bookmarking accounts, there are some different services, but if you set up sort of 10 to 20 social bookmarking accounts at different different bookmarking sites, and then we do between 100 and 150 bookmarks, and again you want to spread that out over time, and you basically just want to fire. These I use to fire everywhere, so especially the Web 2.0 stuff and up here as well, but I just start firing these like nuts, just go sort of everywhere. And I will send some back to the money site, not a huge amount, but I'll send these pretty much everywhere, and obviously lots to the Web 2.0, and they'll sort of link around. And that's one of those things where, when you post the job to your assistant, you might say, look, I want you to, here's a list of URLs, I want you to social bookmark 10 different pages each day, or 15 different pages each day. I want you to visit whatever it is that you're trying to bookmark, have a look at what it is that we're trying to rank for, and then use that link as your anchor text, or even just the URL. Many times with a lot of the social bookmarking, all you're doing is linking back to the appropriate website with the URL. So that's social bookmarking. Now, I usually get these when I start the Web 2.0 social bookmarking, and then the next piece, actually I'll talk about some of the services that we use for bookmarking. There's Bookmarking Daemon, which we're starting to use. There's Immediate Edge, has a part of their website that's got a thing called the Edge Networker, and that is an automated process for doing social bookmarking. You load the website details in, and then those links are automatically pushed out to these social bookmarking sites. Then you've also got under Portal Feeder, they've got Web 2.0 Co-op. which is a service where they get people who want to be involved in Web 2.0, and you bookmark someone's site and then they'll book someone's site. I find that probably a little bit more work than I want to do. I really like to automate things, so that's why my primary focus is Bookmarking Daemon, Immediate Edge, and there's also another one, Social Marker. There's also OnlyWire. There's lots of different services. It's just a matter of, with all of these things, when I recommend some of these different services, don't get caught up in, if I've recommended one of these, it means I've checked it out and it's fine to go ahead and use. Don't get caught up in, which one do I choose, which one's best. I'm telling you now, if you even apply 50% of this, half of what I'm going to go through, you'll start to see results. You don't need to do absolutely everything, unless you're going for your credit cards, mortgages and porn industry or whatever, where it's a lot more competitive in those markets. So we talked about social bookmarking. The next thing that I have a look at is creating videos. Now, video is obviously just exploding right now. I heard an interesting statistic the other day saying that, if I asked you what did you think was the #2 search engine, obviously #1's Google. What's #2? Most people would say something like Yahoo. But I heard an interesting thing where someone had commented that YouTube is considered #2 search engine, in that it gets the second most amount of searches on the internet. So tapping into video and other video sites, look, that's where everybody's going. Everybody's lazy, they don't like reading, people like watching. That's why we've got a nation of people who like to sit on their ass and watch TV. So let's take advantage of that fact and start to use video. Now, video, depending on what your money site is about, if it is a video course and things like that, the first thing that I do is, we've got one of the guys here, Damien, he takes the video and cuts it up into little pieces using Sony Vegas, puts a nice little start screen at it, puts a little end screen on the other end of the video, and then brands it obviously with our URL for whatever site we're trying to promote. The videos are promoting the money site. You're not looking at doing any promoting up here. Video, premium content, and you're looking at sort of ranking here. Fortunately, I'll talk about distributing and how we go about distributing videos, because we don't want to just use YouTube. There are a variety of different websites out there that you can use. The search engines in video search are still a little bit dumb. They haven't quite figured stuff out quite as evolved as things like Google. So, we can get away with a little bit more sort of keyword stuffing and spamming. Well, not spamming, but keyword stuffing. Put a few more keywords in there because they're not necessarily as evolved as the other search engines yet, and a big part of that is the amount of competition that's in there yet. Lots of people, video is just taking off, and I feel like we're just starting to scratch of the surface. This is going to, same with just the internet, this is just really the start. Even though the internet may have been around for a while, we've got so much more to go. I heard someone commented an interesting thing. It was something ridiculous, like a few years passed before, after they'd started publishing books, before someone came up with the idea of putting page numbers down the bottom of a page. It took them years to come to that, and I feel like the internet is so early in its development we haven't seen anything yet. Video is where everything is going. You need to focus on video. So we can either take some of the content from a video course, if that's what you're doing, from the money site. If you're not, get in front of a video like I am now. Just grab yourself a little handy cam and record yourself doing something. If you don't want to do that, pay for someone to do it. If you don't like getting in front of the camera, get Camtasia, or if you've got a Mac, use ScreenFlow, whatever. Record your screen, talk over it, cut it up into pieces and get it out there. A lot of this stuff, as you can see, there is a lot of stuff here, and I think it's important to start building your team, and we'll talk about that in later videos. But this is something, there are certain areas that I focus on, that I put my time in, mindful that I can't do everything, and video is one of those. And then obviously we talked about all the video always links back to your money site. Typically I go to the home page. I haven't really done much of sending the links back into internal pages. Now, how do we actually get this out? So I'll just call it video. And just to start, as start of the plan, I would say you'd probably want to look to 10 to 15 videos. That's probably a good place to start. Now, how do we get the videos out? There are different services out there because there are a variety of web video websites out there. There's Vidler, and we mentioned YouTube, and there's a whole host of secondary video sites. Now, rather than going out and posting each one by hand, it is quite time consuming, especially when you consider you're uploading these videos, and some of them can be quite large. In fact, just an important note there, when you go through cutting up videos, try and make sure they're about 100 meg and no longer than about 10 minutes, because that's kind of the limit with a lot of different video servers. But we use Traffic Geyser to get our videos out there, and we're getting some good success with Traffic Geyser. And another one that I personally haven't used, but I've heard good things about, it's a lot cheaper as well. It's Traffic Mogul, and that's another way to get your videos out as well. So that's video. Can't say enough about video. Make sure you do video. Another thing with that as well, obviously, once we start loading up these videos, Social Bookmark, let me see if I can find my red one, Social Bookmark these videos as well, especially in the early days. Like, we're so in the early days of video, it's very easy to get video rankings for the keywords that you're going after. Okay, talked a little bit about the bookmarking, the videos. Now, the final piece of the puzzle, which I'll put in stage 3. Now, this is really once you're starting to go, right, I want to take this to the next level. And it does involve a little bit more work, but the rewards are there. And that's building your own network. And we talked about that in one of the other the SEOmethod.com videos. So we're having a look here, and let's say, usually I say just to start off, and you can go hog wild on this, and there's tons of things that you can do. Look, I'm a big follower of Jeff Johnson's stuff, been reading and watching his material for ages, and I love what he does. But it's very easy to get caught up, especially when you start building your own network. Things like, you want to have your own domain names hosted on different hosting accounts, and you want to have each of them registered under different names so they appear to be by different people. You want to make sure they're on different Class C blocks. There are so many things that you can get caught up on to try and separate those different networks, and to a certain extent, depending on what it is that you're looking at doing, you may want to do that, but the effort that required for the ROI, the return on investment, probably isn't there for the majority of people. So what I suggest is you might start off with sort of 5 to 10 sites, and usually what I like to do very early on in the piece, like if I know I'm going after a market, when I go after a market, clearly I go after a market very strong. What I'll do is I'll brainstorm before I even get started. Well, what is it that I'm planning on doing? I'm going after this, and I'm going to go after it over the next year. Very early on in the piece, I'll register these domain names early on. I may not use them, my own network. I'll register them, but I may not use them. So that way I can just let them age. So I'll put up a piece of content, I'll grab a PLR article or something like that that's on topic, get them online, and then I'll probably shoot 1 or 2 links from one of our blogs or something like that. So that way you can get it can get indexed by the search engine and start aging. We've had domain names that rank for fantastic keywords, and we haven't done anything to them. I've put an article up, left it for 2 years, come back 2 years later, and we're getting first page listings for reasonably good keywords. So that's a great way to start. But you just get them up for now, and then do all this other stuff, and then when you're ready, come back and start on building your own network. And again, this is thinking long term, what is it that you're looking at doing? So build between 5 and 10 sites. I usually like to use software that makes this easy. Like where I put a lot of effort into this, and I focus a lot of my time and attention, limited time, I focus it in on building the money site and the marketing and things like that, and also on the video. Another area I don't like to spend much time on is the building of these sites. So I try and use a little bit more automated software. There's Jeff Johnson has got his professional WordPress blog thing that he's got out at the moment. That's a good way to to build sites. You've got sites like WordPress Direct, that's another way to do it. You've got Portal Feeder, which builds sites. You can even look at setting up sites that pull content from Amazon and things like eBay and things like that. Pretty much you're looking for an automated way to build these sites, and you're looking for these sites to grow over time. You don't want to put it up and just have a static site that does nothing. So that's why I mentioned the WordPress Direct and Jeff Johnson stuff, because they'll pull content from other places and put it onto the website. So they are growing. And I love building these sites using WordPress. Search engines love WordPress. With those different services that I just mentioned, they'll organically grow over time, keeps the spiders coming back, and then what you do is you start to link these sites to. Now, I do quite good quality sites. Like, I'm not looking at doing ridiculously spammy looking sites. I want reasonably quality sites, especially for obvious reasons. I'm linking it back to our primary money site, so I'll link that back in here. I'll also send some of these links to these two areas, your Web 2.0 and your video. Not so much the articles and stuff. Maybe the e-zine articles we do a little bit, but not a huge amount. But these sites can link up to your e-zine, link down to your Web 2.0, and link down to your video. And obviously, each one of these sites is independent of their own on different websites. And we sort of build that up over time. So that really is the method that I use, and I've used it to rank countless websites, dominate some very competitive niches, hundreds and hundreds. One particular website I can think of, we've got hundreds and hundreds of first page listing for medium to long tail keywords that are buying phrases, and that's all because I did a little bit of focus beforehand. I didn't just throw up stuff for the sake of throwing up stuff. I thought well in advance of what I was doing, started to lay the groundwork, and now we're really starting to see, you know, just we're pretty much untouchable for that particular niche. If you want to take things to the next level, and I keep on talking about, you know, a lot of this has to do with, and we talked about this in one of the other SEO videos, you can get to page #1 in Google and you can do all of this stuff, right? But if you're already in position #1, you don't necessarily need to do all of this. All you need to do is be one step better than the guy that you're trying to beat. So if you're finding you're getting results and you're only up to stage 1, you may not head down this track. You might just go, I'm happy with that until the competition starts to come in. But you just need to you know, use these processes, and this will help you dominate very competitive niches. To take it to the next level, what you might do is start to apply stage 1, that's all of this top part here, apply it to each one of these individual sites in your own network. And the good thing about building your own network, obviously you control your own links, and because these are on secondary websites, other things that I use to monetize these websites, you know, you can make extra money because it's external of the website. You're not necessarily hiding the fact that it's you, but I mean, it's you're putting there's a little bit of a line between you and your money site. Putting things like text link ads and stuff like that is another way to build up revenue, especially once you start to apply this to it. You'll get page rank almost straight away, and then it's a very quick, easy way to get some extra residual revenue that funds a lot of what it is that you're doing up here. And that's pretty much the SEO method that we use. There's obviously a lot more intricacies that I couldn't quite articulate, and a lot of those are discussed in detail in the SEOmethod.com. So that's the SEOmethod.com. A lot of these is explained in further detail. A lot of the services that I mentioned as well are all listed on the website as well. I do mention the names. Look, I'm not going to hide the name for you and just give out my affiliate link here. On the website, you know, affiliate marketing is part of what I do, so I will include my affiliate link, but I only recommend things that I do believe in, and I do mention the names anyway. So look, if you wanted to go about it and, you know, sign up to these different services through your own affiliate link or whatever, look, that's fine, but this is what I do, and I provide the value here for you guys, and that's what I do. So again, check more info on the SEO method.com. Talked about the importance of focus, talked about focusing on your money site, and also using of assistance, which is talked about. And that's the SEO method in a nutshell.